Darapur village is located in the middle of the arid plains of Odisha state, where people depend on seasonal crops all year round. There, a male elephant named Bola has been kept in captivity for more than 20 years to pull wood and transport agricultural products. Since he was a baby, Bola was separated from his herd and tied with steel chains around his four legs. The villagers did not intentionally torture him, but their ignorance made him live like a machine. Under the scorching summer sun, Bola was still tied in the yard, without a roof or clean drinking water. One of his hind legs had been chained for so long that the flesh had become ulcerated, festering and giving off an unpleasant smell. Every time it rained, dirty water seeped into the wound, causing him to tremble in pain. The skin around the wound was swollen, shiny, and yellow pus oozed out in small streams on the ground. The villagers only used salt water to wash it roughly and tied it tightly with rotten rope. Bola no longer walked normally, he just stood there panting, his eyes glazed with fatigue. Many nights, the villagers heard a low growl, like the lament of a desperate creature. A young boy once witnessed Bola shedding tears as he was dragged away in the scorching sun. The giant body gradually became emaciated, bones protruding, ears torn from flies and mosquitoes. No one really cared about the pain Bola had endured for the past 2 decades. And Bola, strong as he was approaching the edge of despair and collapse. A young member of Wildlife SOS happened to hear about the elephant chained for many years in Darapur. He immediately reported to the central office, where Chief Ranger Arjun Mehra was overseeing many rescues. Arjun had heard many heartbreaking stories, but Bola's case troubled him many nights. The team began planning to approach, film and collect evidence of Bola's deplorable living conditions. They went to the village under the guise of an agricultural inspection, secretly taking photos and videos of each of the elephant's wounds. Evidence showed that Bola's leg ulcers were at risk of becoming infected with blood poisoning, which could have been fatal if left untreated. Arjun filed a petition with the local court, requesting that Bola be confiscated and rescued from his abusive condition. The local government initially hesitated, fearing a backlash from the villagers, but the conservation groups pressed hard. After more than 2 months of fighting, petitions, meetings and negotiations, they still had not received a final decision. One day in April, Bola's injuries became severe, prompting the rangers to take urgent action. Wildlife SOS sent an urgent letter, attaching a photo of Bola standing trembling in a pool of pus at his feet. Local media reported that the heartbreaking images were widely circulated online, causing public outrage. In the end, the authorities were forced to sign a confiscation order and hand over Bola's care to Wildlife SOS. Arjun held the rescue document tightly in his hand, feeling as if he had just brought back life to a forgotten soul. The group prepared to set off, carrying medicine, a special vehicle, and fresh fruit for the elephant. When the vehicle reached the entrance of Darapur village, the atmosphere became silent as if everyone knew what was about to happen. Arjun got off first, holding the order in his hand, his eyes stern but full of compassion. A few villagers gathered, some protesting, some standing silently without saying anything. Bola was still tied in the backyard, his legs swollen, his body shaking with each breath. When Arjun approached, Bola did not flinch, did not react, just stared with tired eyes. Another member of the rescue team pulled out a knife and cut the first chain, the old chain making a faint screech. The stench of rot from the wound made the group hold their breath, but no one stopped. Bola staggered a bit as the chain was removed, but did not fall, as if he had been waiting for this moment for a long time. The villagers began to pull away, some looking at Bola with tears in their eyes, some crying. The oldest man in the village whispered, "He should have been freed 20 years ago." The children waved, calling Bola's name, and the adults bowed their heads in farewell. Bola was guided into a special elephant transport vehicle, her legs wrapped in clean cloth and temporarily disinfected. Before the vehicle door closed, Bola turned to look at the entire village one last time, her eyes both sad and forgiving. The vehicle moved through the dust and bright sunlight, carrying a life that had just been liberated. No one said anything, only the sound of the elephant's hooves lightly hitting the side of the vehicle and the engine rumbling away. In the vehicle, Arjun sat next to Bola, his hand on the elephant's body, as if promising, from now on, you are no longer alone. The journey to heal Bola officially began. At the Wildlife SOS Elephant Rescue Center, Bola was taken to the intensive care unit with a medical team on duty 24/7. The wound on her right leg was treated immediately, because the abscess had swollen and purple and pus was constantly oozing out. Arjun stood by as the vet injected an anesthetic and began to incise the abscess on Bola's leg. A thick yellow pus flowed out, the strong fishy smell filling the air, making everyone hold their breath. The doctor inserted a drainage tube, cleaned it with antiseptic, and then bandaged it with high-quality antibacterial gauze. Bola did not resist, just breathed evenly and lay still, as if he knew he was being saved. In the following days, Bola was closely monitored, with daily bandage changes, cold compresses, and regular antibiotic injections. Every 3 hours, the staff checked the temperature, heart rate, and moisture around the wound. In addition to the medicine, Bola was fed fresh fruit, corn, papaya, ripe bananas, and clean palm leaves. The entire care team took turns staying by the cage, even Arjun slept in a nearby shed. 4 days later, Bola moved his injured leg for the first time without wincing. The following week, it stood up, walked a few steps around the cage, and stopped to drink water. Everyone was elated, tears of joy falling from the hope of being reborn. In less than a month, the wound had dried, scar tissue had begun to form, and Bola had gained more than 60 kilograms. It began to make softer, happier sounds, and for the first time, it twitched its ears when someone called its name. One morning, Bola gently tugged on Arjun's hand with his trunk as if to say, "I miss you." No one recognized the once desperate elephant. Bola had revived in both body and soul. Arjun knew that they had truly saved it, not just from death, but from 20 years of loneliness. When Bola had fully recovered, Wildlife SOS decided to release it back into the semi-wild in the Chandaka forest. The forest was vast, with streams, ancient trees, and a herd of 7 elephants living stably. Before releasing him, Arjun took Bola for a walk around the area to get him used to his new surroundings. Bola was cautious at first, but soon he stepped into the cool green grass. A mature female elephant approached, snorted softly, and wrapped her trunk around Bola's in a welcoming gesture. The herd gradually approached, curious but friendly, surrounding Bola as if welcoming a new member. Bola quickly integrated, starting to move with the herd into the forest, each step steady and proud. He no longer trembled or bowed his head, instead he slowly shook his ears and roared deeply. The scar on his leg was still there, but it was no longer painful, just an unforgettable memory. Arjun stood by the wooden fence, watching Bola disappear into the forest and smiled contentedly. The long days of struggle, treatment and hope had now come to a complete end. Bola was now free, living his true nature, and being loved as he should have been. He was no longer a tool for hauling wood, but a respected creature in the midst of majestic nature. Other rangers still occasionally patrolled and found Bola and his herd in the sunny ravines. Each time, Bola would wag his trunk happily, like greeting a long-lost relative. Bola's life had turned a new page, from being chained to living in freedom and love. Arjun continued his rescue work, carrying the memory of Bola as a symbol of hope that never died. And across the Indian steppe, a once suffering elephant now lives as a silent legend.